If you are new to my channel, I like to create looks for you guys or recreate looks for you guys in a way that you can follow along, because I know that the average person or average girl that does makeup maybe doesn't do makeup every day on a daily basis, and if they want to follow a tutorial, it can be intimidating and sometimes it can be hard.
Notice me, please don't listen to me. I got something.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Jessica. So today's look is something that is one of my favorites. It is seriously like, it is a look that I feel like will look good on anybody and everybody. And it is also something that I feel is the easiest to do, especially if you're doing it the way that I'm going to show you in this video. So this is going to be a nice, soft glam with more of that natural feel. So it's supposed to basically be a look where it's just supposed to be a more soft glam, something that obviously makes it look like you put makeup on, but it isn't supposed to change you too much. It's just supposed to be just very soft, very romantic, and it's supposed to have a natural like effect. And I mean, I don't necessarily think this is super natural, but at the same time, you know, you don't have like a crazy wing going. We don't have like a bunch of black, like smoked out shadow with like black underneath or any crazy colors. So I think this is like a happy medium for people when they want to feel very nice and glam and beautiful with, you know, their makeup on, but once again, not being too much. So it is so easy, you guys, and so simple. I tried to make this like literally as simple for you guys as possible, because once again, if you are new to my channel, I like to create looks for you guys or recreate looks for you guys in a way that you can follow along, because I know that the average person or average girl that does makeup maybe doesn't do makeup every day on a daily basis, and if they want to follow a tutorial, it can be intimidating and sometimes it can be hard. So I want to make it as easy and simple for you to follow along. I am using one eyeshadow palette. I'm using just a few brushes. It's really not that complicated. You can use any palette you like that has, you know, these color like tones in them. You don't have to necessarily just use this palette. I feel like sometimes I can look like a little, what is it called, like a little rooster? You know? Anyways, if you want to get this really, really pretty but easy soft glam look, then just keep watching. So as usual, you guys, make sure you give us a thumbs up if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notification bell so that you are notified every time I upload. And also, if you want to stay connected with me on social media, you can follow me on Instagram. That is definitely a place where I am the most like on the platform. And let's get into the video. So the eyeshadow palette that I'm using for this look is something that you guys have seen. This is the Morphe palette, and it is their Stunning Vibes palette. It's number 35V. So the regular Morphe palettes look like this, and then I will open it up and show you guys. It's a little dirty, but that's okay. As you guys can see in this area right here, there's a lot of warm tones. There's a lot of browns. There's a lot of like sandy colors. There's burgundies. It's just very, very warm, and it's very good to use for a, you know, like soft glam anytime you want to do something that's smoky but not too much. No, you don't want to use really dark or black eyeshadow. Perfect colors to use. So I love this palette for that. So what I'm going to do first is I'm actually going to go ahead and prime my eyes. You can go ahead and use whatever eye primer you like. Either way, just make sure that you do prep your eyes just like you want to prep your skin. I typically use concealer. So right now I have been using this e.l.f. 16-hour Camo Concealer. And this is a great concealer, by the way, for drugstore. It's only $5 and it's full coverage. I absolutely love it. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my mermaid mirror that I have right here. I love this mirror. And I'm just gonna go ahead and place this on my eyes.
Ooh, yeah.
And then I'm just gonna go ahead and take my finger and just kind of blend out the concealer. Let me tell you, it is so much harder to do eye looks when you have nails. It is so much harder to do eye looks like when you have nails, because I can't you know, get like right in there because I have longer nails. So it's like so hard and it gets so frustrating sometimes. Okay, so I did that side and do this side. And all I'm doing is I am taking my finger first and I'm just kind of pressing in and trying to blend out this concealer. I'm not trying to rub it off or like swipe it off by any means. We want this to stay on and we want it to be nice and tacky. So as you guys can see, I now have my eyes prepped with concealer. What I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to go ahead and set my eyelid. Now, if I were to be using bold colors, I've said this before, like maybe certain colors that are in the James Charles palette, like some of those pinks or blues, I actually wouldn't be doing this step right here, which is going in with either my face powder or just a more skin-like tone of eyeshadow and setting this. I would actually want to put that powder directly onto the concealer, because when you need a pigment to stand out more, you want it to go on something that is going to kind of help bring it out and make that color just kind of stick on your eye. Because this isn't a very bright, like bold eye look, I want everything to be very seamless and very smooth and very natural-like. So I am going to go ahead. I'm going to take something that's like this right here, and I'm going to go ahead and just set the entire eye. And since I want this look to be very just effortless, I want it to just blend well together, and I want all of the colors to flow together on my eye. That is why you want to go ahead and set your concealer or your primer, at least in my opinion, because sometimes if you try to go in with your color, it can stick and get patchy, and unless you are going to just pack and build up that color, you don't want it to do that when you're putting the eyeshadow on your eye. You really want to take the eyeshadow and go ahead and place it on your eyelid and have it blend very seamlessly and very smoothly. So that's why I'm doing this. So now that I set my eyes, I'm going to now go in with my transition color. So I'm going to go ahead and just use the same eyeshadow brush that I just used. But this is a Real Techniques like blending brush. It's got a nice fluffy, it has a really nice fluffy end, and it's very soft. I'm going to go ahead and go in with the transition shade. And what that is going to do is it's going to go ahead and start the outline of shaping your eye. And it's just going to act as like an in-between between the lighter colors that you might want to put by your brow bone and then the darker shades that you're going to put maybe on that outer corner and in the lower part of your crease, and it's just going to tie the two together. So the transition shade that I'm going to be using is this shade right here, and this is a brown with like I feel like a more orange undertone. So I'm just gonna go ahead and dip into that shade, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go right here into the crease area and a little bit above, and I'm just gonna start blending that shade onto the crease and just a little bit above, like I said, to act as that transition between the two shades that you would be putting on top and on bottom. Now, when I'm doing my eyeshadow looks, I kind of like to go back and forth between kind of closing my eye and then keeping my eye open. Sometimes when I keep my eye open, it allows my brush to fit right in where I need that color to go as my eye is open, because obviously as you close your eye, you're not going to know what the full effect of the eye look is until you open your eye. So sometimes I like to keep it open, and it just allows me to see where I want to have placement with the eyeshadow. When you are blending your eyeshadow, you want to go, I like to use both techniques where I do windshield wiper motions where I'm going back and forth, and then I also like to go in little circles, especially when I'm trying to go above the crease, because that for me really just kind of blends and gets that eyeshadow up in a really like nice seamless kind of motion. Oh my god, I just knocked that over. So when I go in like little circular motions like this and I go above the crease, it just really helps to just kind of blend it out in, you know, a nice way, instead of just always just doing windshield wiper motions up here, because then I feel like you might not get the right blend. So I like doing back and forth when I'm directly in the crease, and going in circular motions when I'm going a little bit above and outside the crease. Okay, so for time's sake, I'm just gonna focus on one eye and get that done, and then I will do the other eye off camera, because I feel like when I do this, it just takes too long. So the next step is I'm going to be building up on that crease area. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna take a little bit more of a stiff and dense blending brush. So the Real Techniques is a lot more soft, and it really just glides. This one is by Urban Decay. I actually have had this for quite a while. I got it in one of their palettes a long time ago, and it's a little bit more stiff, which is what I want, because now I'm gonna get a little bit more precise with the placement, and I don't want it to move as much. So I'm gonna go ahead and dip into that shade that's right next to it, which is this shade right here. And this is a little bit more dark. It's basically just more brown. So I'm just gonna dip into that, and then I'm going to go ahead very carefully and just once again go directly into the crease. And this time I'm gonna go a little bit lower. I'm not gonna focus taking this color all the way up above. I'm gonna keep it right in the crease area and actually go lower. And all this does is just give your eye dimension. I'm now going to go ahead and start working on the outer corner of my eye. This is supposed to be a very effortless glam. I don't like to do like a million different like transition shades. So that is gonna be the two that I'm using right there. And then I'm gonna go ahead and start to use a darker shade, a little bit more of that burnt like burgundy shade. And that's gonna start giving me that more like smoky effect on my eye. I'm gonna be taking this shade right here, and I'm going to take this Morphe M433 brush, and I absolutely love using this brush. Focus, there we go. I love using this brush for the like outer part of my eye when I am doing a smoky look. So I'm gonna go ahead and dip into that. I'm going to start gently tapping like that. I'm going to tap on the outer part of my eye where I know I want to start the process of that smoky like outer corner like cat eye look. Just keep tapping, and I'm going to just build. I'm going to take the brush and I'm tapping all into that outer corner, and I'm building up this shade. So as you guys can already see, we're starting to build up on this outer corner. Once I feel like I have enough product there is when I'm going to start to go ahead and blend it out into the shape that I want. So I'm just going in and tapping, 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 and I don't want to go too much above the crease. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to go into that cat eye like shape. You guys can see I just start taking this and I am going up, almost like I'm not necessarily making a point, but almost as if I'm going in a triangle shape. That's how I am blending it out. Now, if you wanted to, you can go in with an even darker shade and go right there into the outer corner of your eye. But I am trying to keep this, like I said, a little bit more on the natural glam. So I'm not going to go any darker. I'm just going to keep it in this like shade range. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go in with my lid color. It is this really pretty like bronzy shimmer, and I absolutely love this shade, and I love how it looks when I do a look like this, when I mix it with these colors. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this brush. This is called a shading brush, and this is also from Real Techniques. And let's see, focus, focus. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this brush. I'm gonna dip into that eyeshadow, and I'm gonna get a lot of product on my brush. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some setting spray, and I'm going to spray while it is on my brush. And now I'm gonna go in and start to place that shimmer. And I don't know if you guys can see how beautiful this looks, but when I take the eyeshadow and I put it on my brush first and then spray it, I don't know why I like the way that it looks better than if I were to spray my brush first and then dip into the eyeshadow shade. Sometimes when I do that, I feel like it makes little marks in marks in your eyeshadow, and I don't know, I feel like it just doesn't go on as nice. I like to put the product on my brush first and then spray the setting spray. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip into a lighter champagne color right on top. I'm going to use my finger and I'm just going to place this like right in the center of the lid. But now as far as the eyelid goes, these are pretty much all of the colors that I'm using. So now all I have to do is go back in and just kind of fine tune the shape and the blending in like the areas of my eye. So that's what I'm gonna do. That is going to be primarily the gist of my eye. So we've got a nice blend going, we've got the shimmer going. Now, this is something that if you've seen any of my videos before, you know that I do. If you ever feel like you don't like the way your eyeshadow looks underneath your eyebrow, what I like to do is I'm going back in with that more skin-like tone shade in this palette, or I will take my face powder and I take it on this really small Luxie brush. And I'm going to dip into that. I'm just going to go right underneath the brow bone. And it just kind of lightly cleans up underneath your brow bone and then in between the eyeshadow. And it does it in just a really like nice seamless way rather than taking concealer and trying to clean up, you know, right underneath the brow bone. So I don't know if you guys can tell a difference, but it just kind of helps, like I said, blend right there and make it look like I didn't go up too high with my eyeshadow. So the next part is actually up to you guys. If you guys like to smoke out the lower lash line, you definitely can do that as well. I am not going to do that today. I am just going to keep it up on the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and throw on some mascara. I'm going to put some false lashes on. These are the 3D Faux Mink lashes by Ardell. It's crazy to see this eye and this eye, like such a dramatic difference. Before I go and put mascara on the bottom lashes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up right over here where the eyeshadow is. Since I am not doing a smoky like lash line down here, I want it to be a little bit cleaner up here on the outer corner. So I do already have most of my face makeup on, so if you did not have any face makeup on, really all you have to do is just take a makeup wipe and just kind of clean up. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take a little bit of concealer and I'm just going to go ahead and just place a little bit right here on the outer corner, and I'm going to use my finger and I'm going to just take the concealer and kind of clean up the outer part of my eye this way. And I'll be honest with you guys, this is very hard for me to explain, so I'm just hoping you guys can see how I do it. But basically what I did was I almost like followed, I can kind of feel like where my cheekbone is, so I kind of have my pinky placed right there, and I'm just kind of following that cheekbone going up on an angle so that I can clean up the this part of the eyeshadow. And then I'm going to quickly just take some face powder, which as you guys know is my Maybelline Fit Me, and I'm just going to go ahead and set that as well. And I always get mascara like under my lashes when I'm putting mascara on the bottom, so don't worry if you do. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and move on to doing this eye, and once the mascara that has kind of gotten underneath the lash line, all I have to do is take a Q-tip and just kind of clean it up, and it comes right off, but you have to let it dry first. So I'm just going to go ahead and let that eye sit, and we're going to go ahead and do the other eye. Okay, so I have that eyelash on, so I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing that I did with the other eye. I'm going to take a little bit of concealer and I'm just going to go. And I'm just going to take a Q-tip and go ahead and go right underneath, you guys can see, and just clean it up. Just like that. And it comes right off. Alright guys, so that is the finished eye look. All I did was I went and put some lip gloss on because like I said, my face makeup was pretty much done. So I am using the NYX Lingerie. This is the, it's a liquid lip. It's matte and it's in the color Baby Doll. So it's a very, very like light nude. It's a light nude shade, so I do like that. So I put that on first, and then I wanted to put a gloss over it. And this is by Tarte. It is the Tarteist Lip Paint. So really pretty, like nice bronzy, like shimmer. I just put that on top, of course, because it goes with the nice bronzy eye look. But yeah, I hope you guys that this is something that is simple for you to do. As you can see, this is such a pretty like sultry eye look, but at the same time it isn't overbearing. It isn't too dark, it isn't too much, and I hope you guys can see that as I was doing the steps and applying the makeup, that it wasn't too hard to do. I didn't have to do really any crazy techniques. I didn't use a ton of shades on the eyelids. You know, it's not too crazy, like technical. Once again, you guys, I like to do these looks for you guys, and I want it to be easy for you to follow along, and I want it to be something that you can do and not be so overwhelmed if you put it on your face, especially if you are somebody that doesn't wear a lot of makeup. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to leave me some comments below and come talk to me there. And definitely don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notification bell once again. And I will see you guys in my next video.